security concerns, not security concerns, basically privacy concerns about how the data will be stored on those devices.
Let's look at the inevitable, the 800-pound gorilla in the room. How about let's scrutinize young Middle Eastern men?
We've got to start
Let's stop this. What happens on El Al Airlines, the airline run and operated by the State of Israel, if a Palestinian tries to board that flight? You think he goes through an extra degree of security? Well, let's do that with Muslims. Let's do that with anybody named Abdul or Mohammed or Ahmed. Let's take them and put them in a room and make sure they don't have explosives sewn into their underwear.
That's what we have for 2 segments. We'll have you respond to that, KT and Christine. Meanwhile, Bob Sniffy Dogs would have been able to pick that up at home and with us here on the couch. Specifically, how we track and screen potential threats. Is political correctness jeopardizing our security in the sky? We're back with our esteemed panel, Mike Gallagher, KT McFarland, Christine Fair. Christine, with you, do you feel as though if we were less politically correct, we'd be more effective?
I don't see how this is a politically correct issue. It sounds very convenient that we can profile folks. The problem is we really don't have a good handle on what are the characteristics of a specific kind of terrorist, particularly those that self-radicalize. It's far from obvious that this fellow would appear in any sort of list of characteristics of a profile. And I'm not opposed to profiling. I want to be very clear.
Are you kidding me? How about, you mean the guy whose own father?
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. He was put into the database in November. So in profiling everyone, you run the risk of actually having a system that's unmanageable.
I tell you,
I'm not opposed to profiling, but the empirical demands are really more difficult than I think you appreciate.
Good point, but KT, there's only one group that's really declared war on America, and it's radical Islam.
And that's the problem.
They're not the crazy Catholic Aurelians.
From the very beginning of this administration, with announcing they're going to close Gitmo and release the prisoners, to trying the September 11th suicide bomber mastermind in civilian courts in New York, to now, where they read this guy his Miranda rights, and they're going to put him in the court. They're treating this like a law enforcement problem. It's a war.
I've got an idea. How about let's profile the guy whose father already notified the authorities that my son is a radical terrorist. Hey, Christine, why don't we start with profiling him and telling him you might not be allowed to get on an airplane?
Mike,
are you kidding me?
But Mike, what you're saying is to any Muslim. Do you think we should profile any Muslim?
Disagreeing with that.
Yes, I think we ought to. I think we ought to do what El Al Airlines does. Ask anybody who knows El Al what they do with Palestinians who attempt to board El Al. We should take anybody who's a known Muslim and put them in a separate line. Call it a VIP line.
That is so preposterous.
No, it's not.
One-third of the world's population is Muslim.
A VIP line, Christine. Don't worry.
If you're going to treat every single Muslim in this way, it's simply untenable. It's unpractical. It's fear-mongering.
Who are you afraid of offending?
I have no problems offending anyone. I'm simply saying that in taking such a preposterous position, you actually alienate modern Muslims.
Is there a risk, KT?
There's a middle ground here.
There has to be a middle ground.
There is a middle ground.
There needs to be an empirically driven approach.
Hold it, Christine, real quick.
There's a middle ground here. You don't have to do this to everybody who's a Muslim, but you do have to do some profiling. Napolitano's point is there are too many on this list. We can't figure it out. Put them on a separate list.
That's why we have computers. We're not just going to go through a...
You can do a Google search on this guy in 30 seconds. You got
to tell me about this Google thing.
Call it the
KT,
Muslim,
thanks so much.
VIP line.
Mike Gallagher, you certainly are fired up for your radio show. And Christine, you're a real asset. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We calm? Straight ahead. As we've been reporting, the suspected terrorist in this case went to Yemen. It's the same country that released all the defendants connected to the U.S. coal bombing. We will take a close look at that connection. Then, another plot.